And we're live. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Let's Talk Fishing podcast. My name is Jay Angel, and I'm going to be your host for this evening. First thing I'd like to tell you is the Garden State Outdoor Sports Show is going to take place January 6th through 9th of 2022 at the New Jersey Convention and Exposition Center in Edison, New Jersey. The Northern Illinois Sports and Outdoors Show is going to take place January 13th through 16th. That's 4 days of sports shows, guys. It's in 2022 at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake, Illinois. Tonight, I have a special guest. He's been on my show a couple of times, a guy by the name of Jeff Melsop. And Jeff is a bass tournament angler from the great state of Ohio. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
I'm doing great, Jay. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, what, geez, I can't believe I got tongue-tied there. What trail are you going to be following next year?
I'll be fishing the Toyota Series, the Northern Division.
Northern Division. So where are they going to be stopping at?
We'll be heading to the Potomac River in June. That'll be the first stop, and then we'll be going to Lake Champlain and then also the St. Lawrence River.
Wow. There's two in there that you're going to be catching a lot of smallmouths at.
Yep.
That's going to be something else right there with those smallmouth places up there in New York, huh?
Oh yeah, I love it.
So how you've been to both of those bodies of water before, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
So you're going to be drop shotting?
I'll be doing a lot of drop shotting. Yep.
Geez. Man, I envy you guys being able to go places like that and try to figure it out in a couple days and compete for a few days. I mean, that is a lot of fun. So, Jeff, now tell me, what is your favorite soft plastics for drop shotting?
I've really been working a lot with the Venom Dream Shot, and they make a great soft plastic. Venom tubes in the 4-inch and 3.5-inch. Watermelon and green pumpkin is always works. So I like a dark watermelon and a green pumpkin tube, and then I'll drop shot with a Dream Shot.
So what does a Dream Shot look like?
It's just a small little drop shot bait, but I don't have any here with me right now, but okay. Definitely worth picking up.
So that's the Venom Dream Shot.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you use to get that down to the bottom? What kind of weights do you use?
I'm drop shotting that with Eco Pro tungsten cylinder weights.
Okay.
Probably the best tungsten in the business, and great company. I use their products. I use their spinner baits. They make great spinner bait, and also jigs, really good jigs. I got some of their jigs, flipping jigs right here.
Okay, put that a little bit closer to the camera so we can see it.
Right there. That's one color right there. And here's one right here. But I got a boat full of them. And
I bet you do.
Great jig to throw. So, but yeah, and then the way I usually rig up for drop shotting, my favorite rod's a razor rod. I use a medium action 6'6" razor edge rod. I got one of those here.
Oh yeah, let's show us
that. With the 25 series reel. Usually have my weight about 18 inches below that is a good starting point. Anywhere from 18 inches to 24 inches, somewhere right around there. I use a little bit different hook than a lot of guys use.
Okay.
I use a spin shot hook. It's, if you can see, it's like this right here, and it's got a swivel on it. They're kind of expensive, a little bit more expensive, but you tie them on both sides, and they're free to swivel. They never turn upside down.
Now, who makes that?
Owner, but VMC.
VMC. Okay.
VMC. And one of the things that's handy when you're fishing a tournament, a lot of times I'll tie my knot. I'll tie a little bit less strong knot on the bottom going to the weight, so that if I break off and I'm in a tournament, I don't have to retie the hook and the whole rig all the time.
Okay.
So I'll be able to just retie to the bottom of that real quick, and I keep a spool right next to me in the boat, and it just saves me a lot of time when I'm fishing tournaments. And I fish a really small hook, if you can see that.
I don't think that's, but I think that's just right. I love those smaller hooks.
A lot of guys are fishing the number 2 hooks. I'm fishing a number 4 hook.
Yes.
And
you can use that. You can use that up north. You could not use a small hook like that down here where I live.
Believe it or not, those little hooks for smallmouth, even big smallmouth, they just they work really well. I've never had a problem, and typically don't lose fish.
I agree with you 100%.
But that rod right there, I mean, the way it's hard to show, but it loads up just perfect, and it's just a perfect drop shot rod. But 7 foot works good too. But I don't know. I use a 6'6" a lot, but I do use a 7 foot some.
Yeah, I use a lot of. Most of my spinning rods are 6'6".
Yeah. So. And
I have a lot of them.
But typically, that's my rig. I can show you the knot I tied, but it takes a little bit to tie the leader to the fluoro. But I fish a light fluorocarbon. I fish 6-pound test fluorocarbon and 6-pound test braid. So especially up at the St. Lawrence River, it's real important, I feel, in that current there and in the Detroit River, to not have that heavier line affect the bait, and it makes a big difference. And you got to play the fish pretty well, but you get a lot more bites that way, and the presentation to the fish is a lot better, I believe.
So in the heavy current of the St. Lawrence River, how heavy of a shotter weight are you using?
Anywhere from 3/8. 3/8 is usually the least amount of weight I use, and I'll use up to 3/4, 5/8. But most often between 3/8 and 5/8.
Okay.
Cylinder weights.
Sure. Because they cut the water better, don't they?
Yes.
Than a bell sinker, yeah. Or a ball sinker, yeah.
The ball sinkers, I have more trouble with hanging up. So in the rocks, I like a cylinder better.
I completely agree with you. There.
But at the Potomac, when we go down to the Potomac, we'll be fishing a little bit different,
Oh yeah.
Believe it or not, when I was there last year, a drop shot did play big, and
really?
A red colored worm, a red type oxblood type collar worm with on a drop shot, caught a lot of fish in that tournament. But there'll be a lot of chatterbaits thrown, and I threw a chatterbait. I really like the Razor E-glass rods for a chatterbait. Lose a lot less fish. The rod just loads up really nice. You just kind of lean into it, and you don't miss near as many fish on fishing those chatterbaits. But also flipping, obviously flipping the grass was huge, and caught fish on that. Used a Razor Max series rod on that. This is a Razor Max.
Okay.
7 foot heavy. Was what I was using there, this rod here, and 7 foot medium heavy, and 1 ounce tungsten and 3/4 ounce tungsten, EcoPro tungsten weights. And then I would be throwing a Venom Better Beaver bait right here. That blue and black Better Beaver, great bait in the grass. And also Dream Crawl right here. It's hard to beat that Dream Crawl Venom right there. And
okay.
But that the Max Series rod's a great rod. I mean, if it's a step up from the Edge Series, but I mean, it really good rod, and I've had a lot of luck with it. So that's what we'll be doing a lot of down at the Potomac. A lot of chatterbait, spinnerbait, top waters, and
You gonna do any wacky rigging?
I'm sorry.
You gonna be doing any wacky rigging?
I'm sure I'll have a wacky rig on close to me. Yeah.
Because I know a guy who lives down there. He's a full-time guy named Michael Hall, and he does a lot of wacky rigging with Yamamoto Senkos.
Yeah. I really like fishing a little flick shake type weight, little flick shake type jig head, and that type of worm too. A lot of times that'll be my go-to worm. You know what I mean on that.
Sure. So you're going to be at the Garden State Outdoor Sports Show, aren't you?
Yes, I'll be there all 4 days. I'll be doing 2 presentations a day at the Hog Trough.
Wow.
So hopefully, if you get a chance, come by and see me. I'll be going over smallmouth tactics and drop shotting techniques, and anybody stop by and see me. And if I'm not there, I'll be at the Razor Rod booth meeting with people. But stop by, see me. I'll show you the what I use and how I use it, and we'll get you fixed up with best rod you can get.
Well, good luck, man. I wish you the. Are you going to be doing any speaking there, or are you just going to?
Yeah. I'll be doing I'll be doing the 2 presentations each day, 45 minutes, and I'll be on the Hog Trough. They have the speaker list out, and so you can catch the times on there off the website.
Well, good for you, man. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait. Got a lot of great things going on this year. It looks like I was able to get into I'll be into a new boat this year. I've got some help. Yeah, I got some. I'm going to end up. Looks like I'm going to end up getting a Phoenix. I've partnered up with Mercury and Lowrance, and it should be a really cool ride.
Phoenix, man, wow.
Yeah, so I've over the past few years fishing the big lakes up there. I've been in a lot of boats, and I can tell you, a Phoenix does a great job in rough water. I'd like to give a shout out to Malone's Marine. Couldn't ask for a nicer group of guys. They're taking really good care of me, and if they're right down in Kentucky, right in Ohio, right on the border of Kentucky and Ohio. And if you're looking for a Phoenix boat or a bass cat, stop in and see them. They'll take real good care of you.
So are you going to be fishing any other tournaments other than the Toyota Series?
I'll be fishing an Elite Series in Ohio too. It's basically just you're in the boat by yourself, just one pro by himself, and it's a really nice series, a well-run tournament series. I may pick up some other local tournaments. I normally fish the BFL, the pro side of the BFL, and I would do that. I may fish a couple of them. The only problem is this year, 2 of the tournaments conflict with the Toyota Series. So
Sure.
That pretty much puts making it to the championship, or the regionals out of play. So I might pick up one or two of those that are close to me, but I don't know if I'll fish them all just because of the conflicts with the Toyota.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. So, what else do you use your e-glass for?
Crankbait fishing. I throw a lot of square bills. Here in Ohio, we're fishing a lot of stuff, where we're fishing the medium-sized square bill crankbaits, medium diving crankbaits, anywhere from 4 to 8 foot depth. And I'll tell you that rod, 6.5 or 7 foot medium action e-glass rod is absolutely killer to fish with. I mean, once you get the feel for how to just let the rod load up and lean into it, I don't lose many fish on it, and it's an awesome rod.
When you're up there on the St. Lawrence River, what do you look for when you're searching for smallmouth bass?
I'm basically looking for current breaks on ledges, and that kind of stuff, rock piles, and that stuff. I've been fishing there for a few years now, and I got a pretty good feel for the place, but it's tough. You got to catch a big bag there. I mean, it takes over 20 pounds a day to play, to make the top 10 cut. You're going to be right at 20 pounds a day, and you really need like a 21 or 2 pound day, to break into that top 10 to make it to the third day. So, I mean, it's awesome to go up there and catch a lot of fish, but you really got to catch the weight to be successful there.
Okay, where's the other lake you're going to be fishing this year?
Champlain.
Champlain. Okay, that's a big lake. So what kind of structure are you going to be fishing on Champlain?
I'll be fishing like reefs, rock piles, points. Largemouth does play there too. Mixed bags you can do well with the mixed bag of fish, largemouth and smallmouth. Drop shot bite is really good there. Also, topwater bite can be good, and spinner bait and chatterbait can work well there too.
So you're going to chatterbait until you pinpoint them and then do some drop shotting?
It depends where I'm at and what I'm doing, but I've got areas that I like to that hold smallmouth, and I'll probably be primarily drop shotting and jerk bait fishing there, and then I will be looking for largemouth and in some areas with top waters and chatterbaits and spinner baits.
So what time of the year are you going to be at Champlain?
September.
Ooh.
So and
that ought to be fun. Get into an early fall bite, huh?
Hold on just a second, Jay.
Well, while we're waiting for him, we're going to talk a little bit about razor rods. Razor rods are actually made by Grant Industries, and I believe they make. Well, Grant Industries makes the best rods in the world, I believe.
Oh yeah.
I've used a lot of Grant rods, and I've used a lot of razor rods, and I can't get enough of them.
Jim Grant makes a great rod, and so does Razor. They're both good rods. But yeah, we'll be at the St. Lawrence in August, and we'll be at Champlain in August and the St. Lawrence in September.
Ooh, so you late summer and early fall.
Yeah.
So how does that change things that you're going to be at Champlain in late August?
It'll be a little different. A few years ago we hit it in mid-July and they were still on the beds.
Mid-July, wow.
Yeah, it was I want to say it was the second week in July, and it was still bed fishing. That primarily was the key thing there.
Short
Then
summer, huh?
last couple of years, we was there in late July when they were off the beds in that transition point. I actually think it'll probably be a more consistent bite this year by being a little bit later. They'll be completely in their summer pattern, and it should be consistent.
Yeah, when they have a couple weeks for their summer pattern, huh?
Yeah,
Or maybe a month.
pretty much, right? Yeah. So,
because it starts to get a little cold up there in September.
Yeah, well, we'll be in September. September will be on the St. Lawrence, and it should be good. It's going to be later than we had been there before, so we'll see. I don't know if I've been there in September, but I'm looking forward to it. What they're doing is they're putting us on the Potomac earlier in the year, which, the last two. They have been having us down the Potomac in the summer, and it's just been, a boiler. It's been really tough fishing, and I'm actually looking forward to going to the Potomac in June. So
for those
I think it'll be much better.
For those tidal rivers, man, you gotta go when the tide's changing. When it's slack tide, good luck. There's just not a whole lot going on.
I've learned some things about the running the tide and being there, and it's different than being on the higher river and looking for current and barge traffic for current and that type of thing to turn the fish on, and running the creeks and how the current affects you up the creeks. It's a lot different in the tidal rivers. You're running up the creeks. What I've found is that, you want to run up the creeks and fish the creeks when the tide's out. And,
be careful running up those creeks when the tide's
but it's funny because, being from here, you run up a creek and the tide's out, and you think everything that all the cover, everything that you'd want to fish, you can't really fish. But that's what really turns the fish on, and it pulls the fish off that. But they'll be on the first breaks of the creek channels in the creeks, and any cover that has some depth on it that's still in the water. And so I found that fishing up the creeks when the tide's out, and then when the tide's up, then that's when to run to the main river and punch the weeds.
The grass beds,
get up in the grass beds and punch the grass beds. Points off the grass beds for with a chatterbait or top water, that type of thing.
Sure. I love that chatterbait and the Yamamoto Seiko combination.
It's a popular bait. Yeah.
Brock Mosley definitely did well with that.
Yep.
That's his go-to. That's his go-to. Well, okay, Jeff. Do you have any shout-outs you'd like to do?
I'd just really like to thank Razor Rods for all the help they've given me and the great product and rods that they've provided. I want to thank Venom Lures for their support, and I mean, you couldn't ask for a better company, a better group of guys, and they make great products. They'll support you in any way. If you have any problems, or they're right there. You can, these are companies that you can still call up, get a hold of somebody, and a human being will be there and help you. I also like to shout out to EcoPro Tungsten. Great products, the best tungsten out there, whether it be weights, jigs, spinner baits, buzz baits. I really like especially with jigs, you have a much smaller profile head to them with it being tungsten, and you can fish a 3/8, especially being up here in Ohio, you can fish a 3/8 or a half-ounce jig and get the weight to get down to where you want to get, but still have that more of a finesse size look to it that works up north here well for me. And also I'd like to thank Malone's Marine. it's a great dealership, and if you're looking for a boat, stop by and see them. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on them on shout outs. But take a look at those products, talk to those people. They'll take good care of you.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff. I do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to our listeners at the Let's Talk Fishing Video podcast. And in closing, I'd like to tell everybody that the Garden State Outdoor Sports Show is going to take place from January 6th through 9th of 2022 at the New Jersey Convention and Exposition Center in Edison, New Jersey. Now, come on out to the Garden State Outdoor Sports Show and watch Jeff at the hog trough. He's going to enlighten you on how to catch smallmouth bass. And also listen, he's also going to be up on the seminar stage. So it promises to be quite an event, guys. And also at the Northern Illinois Sports and Outdoors Show is going to take place from January 13th through 16th of 2022 at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake, Illinois. Also, come on over and talk to Jeff at the Garden State Outdoor Sports Show. He's going to be at the Razor Rods booth.
Yep, they got a huge booth. They got a big setup there, and we got plenty of rods for anybody, whether you're fishing rockfish or striper, or you're fishing saltwater, you're chasing bass around in tournaments. We got a rod for you.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff. I do appreciate you coming on. And with that, I'm going to bid everybody a good night.